Hey everybody! So I'm doing this new thing where I am making videos about animals, specifically orcas in the world, basically, captive and wild. I don't know too much about wild ones, but I know the profiles on captive killer whales around the world, not just SeaWorld ones. Well, today I am going to be talking about Shouka. As most of y'all know, I have a dog named Shouka who's a black German Shepherd. She's 3 years old. She was born on December 27th of 2013. So, that's going to be interesting. Um, so shout out to Ash for asking me to cover Shuka. Also, before we start, I do want to mention my guinea pig is in the room, and he's being quiet now, but he's never quiet, so he'll probably start to act out in a few minutes, especially with me not paying attention to him. Anyway, so I'm going to start by shouting out to the sources that I found for information. A lot of this was just retained knowledge from over the years and experience from meeting her. Um, However, SeaWorldCares.com is a good one. You'll find information on all of SeaWorld's killer whales. I believe they also have the killer whales over in Laurel Park in Spain. Um, they are still technically SeaWorld's orcas. So you could always go there. I'm sure that they are still listed, I believe. And I think that they still have up Victoria's profile as well as Tillicum. Anyway, so I got my lovely little fact sheet with my chicken scratch. Um, Shuka was born February 25th of 93 to the mother Sharkin and her father Kim too. She was born in Marineland, France, Antibes. She is actually, obviously a female. Her weight is about 5,000 pounds. There's no exact weight at this moment. It hasn't been updated in a few days, but they do weigh in the whales every day. Right now, she's measured to be about 17 feet long, just a little longer than 17 feet long. She is actually involved in a lot of research studies. In fact, a few of them include breath sampling, audiograms for hearing. Um, she also does photographic assessments on body shape to like kind of compare um, what a healthy female whale would look like at ages over the years. So she's working with them for that, for scientific research, so we can compare it to orcas in the wild and see if their body shape is healthy or not. There's also like I said, the audiogram, which is for hearing, that helps them basically learn how they echolocate, basically, how they communicate with each other, like their dialect and all that. They also have breathing samples, which is for the CO and CO2 intakes. It helps show pretty much how long they can go with breathing um, underwater, like as far as how long they could stay underwater without coming back up for air, as well as lung expansion. So that's pretty cool, and I think they said that she will be also helping out more um, with scientific research in the wild as well. Uh, but that part of information was covered through SeaWorldCares.com. Up next would be orcapod.wikipedia, or Wikia, not Wikipedia, but Wikia.com. Um, they cover the basics, mom, dad. She does have one sister and two brothers. The sister of her is Wiki. She also has a brother, Valentin, who passed away, I believe it was actually just a couple years ago, if not 1 year ago, just a little over a year, I think. Um, and then she also has a brother, Inuk. She also has two nephews, Moana and Kijo. Kijo being the youngest. Moana is just naturally a handful. um, anyway, so in 2002, she moved from Marineland, Antibes to Six Flags in Ohio. She stayed there for 2 years and then moved in 2004 to SeaWorld, or not SeaWorld, I'm sorry, Six Flags in California. She resided alone for a while in Ohio, And then she resided with dolphins, 3 different kinds of dolphins, I believe it was, throughout her time at Six Flags in California. She actually ended up being separated from the dolphins after a while because she had a tank mate named Merlin who she would get very aggressive towards, and she would just literally just stop communicating and listening, period. She wouldn't do anything. She would get very aggressive and show dominance. So they moved her away. She has always been very dominant. In fact, actually, a friend of mine was sharing how growing up she would always go to mainland France and see her. Well, she she always would tell me how Shouka would be very pushy, even toward her parents. Kim too, which is her father. Um, if Shouka did not want him to eat, she would literally just attack him and basically make him stop eating. If she wanted it. Now she wasn't like that. She's not an aggressive whale like that. She just likes to be bossy. She likes to show that she is in charge and that she knows that she is going to be a matriarch one day. So she would be doing like that. However, she was a complete daddy's girl. Growing up, she was always with her dad, no matter what. And in fact, up until the day that she was, I think it was about maybe 4, was whenever she started hanging out more with other whales. But anyway, in Six Flags, she arrived at Six Flags California. She arrived in 2004. Um, Over the years, though, they noticed because of legislature laws changing over time, she would have to be housed with another killer whale. The legislature in California stated that, well, they were making the law. I think it got passed too. No orca can be housed alone. So they looked into sending her to Argentina, to Mundo Marina, which is where Kishmank is, who is also a killer whale, a bull orca killer whale that's stored alone. He actually has a few dolphin friends. I think his number one best friend there is Floppy, I believe his name is, who's a dolphin that he's been with for years. Um, but they tried to send him there, and Argentinian legislature would not allow her there. They have a strict law on transporting whales in and out, in and out. They won't even capture whales. He was considered a rescue, but he wasn't technically a rescue. He was actually a capture that was plotted out to be a rescue. He was washed up on shore due to a stranding, so they rescued him as a stranding, air quote stranding. But after that, they looked more into sending her to Marineland, Ontario, to be with Kiska, and at the time a few other whales. That didn't work out very well, so they ended up sending her to SeaWorld San Diego, where she is now. And she went there August 20th of 2012, because of the fact that they couldn't keep her alone, and they didn't have the good, they didn't meet requirements to keep more than one orca. You have to have measurements and all that perfectly, but it just didn't reach that way, so they couldn't do that. Whenever she arrived to SeaWorld San Diego, her first orca that she met was Corky 2, I should say. Corky is one of the oldest whales in captivity, and she's always one of the friendliest. I'll go more on about her later on this week, more than likely, but Shouka first met Corky and Kalia, as well as Ikaika. So they were very close. In fact, now she gets along great with all the whales, and her dominance level has skyrocketed down, like just completely plummeted. So that's always good too. She gets along great with all the whales. She's only had one altercation, and it wasn't really a fight. It was actually just a little issue between her and Kalia, who was at the time one of the youngest pod members there. And Kalia is a very dominant whale as well because her mother is the matriarch. So it was just to even that out. However, that's all situated now. They're always together. They're like best friends. Wrapping up this video though, you can identify her easily because her eye patch is um, slender compared to the other whales there. Um, it's a little thicker than Corky's. Corky's is more of a oval, and then you can also identify her by her dorsal, which is kind of jagged, but straight for the most part. And the number one way that I identify her is because of her flukes. Instead of her flukes making that shape, they're inverted so they go like that. So instead of having the black part of the tail going like outwards, wrapping around, the white part goes out like that. Um, she's the only one that has a tail like that, so it makes it easier for her to notice. She's also very long, and if she does a pod jump or a pod bow, whatever you'd like to call it, when they all jump together, she she actually is the one that gets the most air out of all of them. She does a lot of high jumps. She has the highest bow out of all of them. In fact, she did bows a lot with the dolphins and actually went over quite a few dolphins. So that's pretty much all I've got for Shouka. If you want more information, let me know, and I can always find more. Um, but that's about it. Thanks. Also, if you want more information, go check out SeaWorld Junkies on Facebook. I will post a link down below. Thanks.